Hey everybody, welcome to our team call. It's March 14th, and so this month we've been reading the book, The 5-Second Rule, in our personal development book club. And it's a very action-focused book, so it's less of a mindset and like personal development book and more of a, hey, here's some tools to put into action to change your life. So because of that, because we're also doing our Emerald City group right now, that'll be fun to do more of a panel again to hear from some coaches who are really taking action in their businesses, overcoming fears, any doubts, limiting beliefs, and really making things happen. And so tonight we're going to hear from Natasha and Laura, I believe, right? You guys are know this is happening? Okay, cool. And then we're going to open it up for some live spotlight coaching. So I'm going to go around and have every single one of you share what's coming up for you in your business right now, what's going well, what blocks are in your way, and we're going to do some live coaching to work on dissolving our fears and blocks so that we can feel really empowered moving forward, which I'm really excited for because we haven't done this in a while. So without further ado, if you don't mind, Natasha, I'm going to start with you. So if you're ready to go, and do you go by Tasha or Natasha?
So historically I've gone by Tasha, but I'm actually trying to shift that to Natasha. So I'm loving that everyone in this group calls me Natasha. That's great.
Cool.
No, it's something my parents used to call me Natasha when I was in trouble. So I always went by Tasha because it felt weird.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to shift that because I love the name.
Gotcha. Awesome. So Natasha is a brand new coach, and she is a month one success starter, which means that she hit Success Club in her very first month as a coach. So I know that sometimes Success Club can seem really overwhelming, really scary when we overthink it and try and blow it out of proportion. But really, when you just take action, it can be really easy. And so we're going to hear just like how Natasha is making it work and what's working for her in her business as literally a brand new coach. I think she's the newest. I don't know when Rebecca signed up, but literally been coaching for like a month or less and already on the Success Club board and running with her biz. So I'm going to give you the floor, Natasha. Feel free to unmute yourself and share.
Okay, so just to start, because I'm so new, I'm definitely nervous, so I apologize if I ramble a little bit. And I did want to start off by saying, am I the only person that with the Emerald City thing going on, like wakes up every morning with Wicked songs stuck in their head? Because I definitely have been waking up every morning and like one short day. Anyway, the Emerald City thing has been really great for me to kind of work with this, like being a new coach and being kind of overwhelmed, not even necessarily overwhelmed, but like feeling that like, I want to do all the things, I want to tackle every thing that's on our list of things to do to like move forward. And so having those actionable items has been very helpful. But so I started coaching probably about 6 weeks ago. And it was something that I kind of knew I wanted to do. Amanda was like incredibly encouraging and bringing me on. And then when I did jump in, I knew that like I had a really solid why when I wanted to jump into coaching. And I think that's been really impactful for me as a new coach in finding the reasons to show up for myself every day, much like we do with our workouts for like ADA Obsession or whatever. Finding your why for coaching is just as important, or it has been for me, as finding your why in your workouts. You're taking time out of your day every single day to work out because it's benefiting you in some substantial way that you have decided is worthwhile. It's worth your time. And coaching is the exact same thing for me. It's complete parallel. When I started Beachbody coaching, it was because I had this realization, I'm not completely content in my current job. And I realized that a lot of that was because I'm investing in somebody else's future through working where I'm at. And what I'm doing is sustaining me in my life in the sense that it's paying my bills and kind of letting me move from day to day, but it's not empowering me to have a future that I'm in control of. And for me, that was a really big why into coaching, because every single moment that I dedicate to myself with coaching is investing in myself again. And I might not be making a ton of money right now. In fact, I'm probably breaking right around even. But every single moment that I put into this is another investment into myself and my future and my career, and something that I control. So that was really important for me. And then taking that why and turning it into like a what was another step for me. I have my notes here. Hold on. Okay, so, taking control of my life and realizing that I'm investing in myself. What does that look like? Big goal all the way at the top. What do I want? And that's, the financial security to be able to work from home and eventually, work towards life coaching and kind of use this as a jumping point to learn how I can use best practices and have this support group of people that are there and helping me make those milestones. And then I take that big goal, and my structure right now, for better or for worse, is to take month goals and then break them down week by week. I have this really lovely planner that's like all graph papered and like tons of gel pens all over it. And I pick like 5 big goals per week that I can break down to, like a Monday through Friday, and how I can structure my week with those 5 goals will eventually lead. I've got a flow chart of how that's going to like eventually get me to the goal of Success Club first month, or trying to get to Emerald in month 2. Breaking it down into smaller increments takes some of the fear away from it, because it's not like, oh my God, I'm not at that goal yet. Am I ever going to get there? There's just those doubts that start to seep in. Breaking it down as to like, I did this thing today, I did this thing today, did this thing today, check, check, check. It's, meaningful motions that you can see that you're moving towards something. Let's see. The other thing is that what I've been realizing, especially through the Emerald City thing, is that if I don't make Success Club this month, it's not a failure. It's if I do everything that I'm supposed to do, or that I have set myself up for, if I take these actions and I invest in myself, and I fall short, quote unquote, of whatever goal I've set for myself, it's a learning experience. It's not a failure. It's a way to look at what I've done and said, okay, well, I tried this way and it didn't work. Why didn't it work? And like to reevaluate. And so I think for me, I'm such an overachiever. I'm incredibly competitive, especially with myself. So to be able to take on that mindset of it's not failure, it's progress in every single aspect of this. Because, and like, again, going back to that, like I said earlier, every moment that I invest in this is a positive investment in myself, no matter the outcome. And getting myself into that mindset has been very helpful through getting through some of that fear of cold marketing and learning how to reach out to people and have them not respond to me. Because one of the first people I tried to reach out to was like, I'm totally in this. I absolutely want to join. And then I sent them way too much information and they backed out and haven't talked to me since. And, I learned steps at a time, don't send them every single thing all at once. And it wasn't a failure. It was just, oh, whoops. Okay, I won't do that again. And I'll reach out later when they feel less like overwhelmed by my presence. And then one of the things that I've been dealing with lately, and I haven't really shared this very publicly, but this ties back into life coming into play and taking fear or overwhelm and letting yourself be okay with it. I just had a non-viable pregnancy that I had to terminate recently, which is a medical thing that I'm doing okay now, but it was really challenging for me because there's a lot of emotional components to it. And then I also physically was not capable of doing some of the things I wanted to do. And emotionally, I wasn't present enough to give to, some of my new challengers that had literally just signed up, or, to my Instagram. I didn't have it in me. And that was a really amazing experience as a brand new coach who came out strong right out of the bat to go, like I could have taken that and been like, oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to walk away for a minute because I need the space. And, if you do, that's okay too. But the community that we have is there for a reason. And Amanda really Like, she helped me and I leaned on her because I needed to. And it's important to remember that when you do feel that way, that this is a community and that you have support. And I think that that's the biggest thing for me right now, is that you're not alone too. So when it feels overwhelming and when you feel that fear set in, everyone around you is there for you and helpful. And like, Amanda led the coaching group for me and took over a day for me because I couldn't deal with it, because I was overwhelmed, because I had to deal with myself, because if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of those around me. And so being okay with limits is one of the best ways for me to be able to overcome that kind of fear. Focusing on what you can do. I haven't posted on my Instagram in so long, it's embarrassing, but I can do Instagram stories because they're easy and it doesn't have to be personal. Like, I can do this even if it feels uncomfortable to do something else. And something that I've learned through this experience is that when I'm feeling really good, having a backlog of multiple posts that are ready to go for the days that I'm not feeling very good is a great way to set myself up for that kind of success, and making sure that I'm showing up for myself even when, you don't have it in you. I'm an introvert and it's hard. I have to set aside energy for making friends and meeting new people, and I have to invest that time. And if it's not there, then I have to honor that and also have some sort of safety net for making sure that I'm still investing in myself, even if that day is a little off. So I think pretty much those are the major things for me. One of the two like silly little quotes that I have, and my mantra honestly for my life is, your mistakes do not define you. So if there is a moment where you feel like you fucked up, or you did something, or you're bummed about your lack of progress, or, whatever it is, it's a moment. The moment is there and it's real, but it's not your everything. And so taking that and allowing yourself to have those moments and to learn from them, so important. And then I was texting my boyfriend about the fact that I was going to be on the team call and I was going to be talking to you guys, and I was like nervous and chatting, and I was telling him about the topic of the call, and he just said, just tell them that Dumbledore said, when you're scared is the only time you can be brave. And I love that quote so much, because it's true. When you're scared, it just means it's something that's new and you're not experienced yet. But the yet is so important. And I'm learning that every single day. And I'm loving it. It's hard and it's scary, but it's worth it. So that's all I got.
Mic drop. Oh my gosh. Girl. You have so much wisdom. Seriously. Yeah. Don't ever second guess yourself. I feel like I'm in like this, I have this spotlight on my face, but for some reason this lamp isn't turning on. Yeah. Okay. That was incredible. So I have two questions for you. Number one, if you're comfortable sharing, what's your why? Can you share your why with us?
Okay. Well, I feel like I have the opportunity to change my why as I move forward. But this will get a little detailed because it's just kind of the way my life is right now. I work for a company that I've been with for 8 years now. And I essentially run this business in a way that like I'm the general manager of this very small but very profitable company here in Portland. And about 2 years ago, I approached the owner of the business to become business partners with him. Because I've invested so much of my time and my energy, and I believe so much in his business, and I feel like we kind of balance each other. And I approached him and I asked him for this, and I told him that if the answer was no hard feelings, I just wanted to offer it. And he jumped at the opportunity and was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And then when I started to act in a way that was for me to kind of take more responsibility for the business and try to work towards more profitability and thinking about ways that we could be more efficient and profitable, all these things, he freaked out on me and basically told me that it was his company, that I helped, but it's his business and he'd be fine without me and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short was it's very clear to me that he doesn't want me as a business partner, despite what he said. It's his business, it's his baby. I understand that. But it was very hard for me because I came at it from a perspective of loving and wanting to contribute. And the last 2 years, I've been incredibly depressed at this job. And it's because I felt very betrayed and hurt and all these things. And so now I'm basically just working at a job that I thought was going to be my future that has now been very clearly like told to me in very clear terms that's not the case. So my why with this was, you know, I kind of fell into a habit of drinking after work every day and just like really bad coping mechanisms for a job that was making me incredibly depressed. And my why for this was, this is about me taking that passion and that belief and that strength that I had for making that business profitable and making it something about me. I get to invest all of that energy and excitement that I had for someone else's business, which would have been amazing to be a part of, but since that's not on the table, and I knew that I was willing to put that effort forward anyway, my why is that I'm going to take that and I'm going to work on me and myself and my business. I'm worth the effort and the energy, and I'm going to make it happen, regardless of where, you know, whether or not it's that job or coaching. And coaching is where I want it to be. I've never felt such a strong calling in my life, which feels kind of cliche or cheesy or whatever. And I'm sorry if this is going too long, but I remember I think watching one of your webinars or something about, maybe it was one of these team calls where you're talking about life coaching. And I had a moment where I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. Because I have all of this, I have a desire to be needed, but I use it in such a negative way with this job because I am needed, but it is used in such a toxic way that I wanted to figure out, how can I use this thing that I need in my life and that I find valuable and turn it into a positive? And that's how I'm going to do it. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I have a genuine direction that I actually want to go. So that is a very powerful why for me.
Yay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sorry, that was really long and rambling.
I love it. I filmed a couple clips of you sharing your why, none of the personal stuff. And I was wondering if it's okay if I can post those on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure to ask your permission. I did not film any of the personal details, but this is incredible. I feel like the world needs to hear you. Okay. And then last question is, you talked about your strategy. You're just like a natural at this, probably because you've been running a business, basically. Your strategy for setting goals and then breaking them down. Mm-hmm. So what does that look like for you? Just like for all of us to know, if you say, okay, I'm going to hit Success Club and be an Emerald coach, what does like the week-to-week breakdown and day-to-day breakdown end up looking like for you and your business?
So I'm a really like on paper kind of person. Let me see if I can find my notebook here because I think I have it on hand. I like to have things visually. Like digital is fine as like a reminder, but I need to have like Post-its that I can move around and, you know, paper that I can write things down on. And I have this lovely planner that has not only a month breakdown and a daily breakdown, but also like a week by week. So what I tend to do is I've got, you probably can't see it very well, but I've got my month here and I write down towards the bottom of the month what my I try to keep it 3 to 5 goals, like big goals. And I write them down at the end of the month with little boxes so I can check them off. And then I move to my week planner and take, you know, one of those goals and break down, or maybe like parts of a couple goals that I can achieve that week. So like this Emerald Coach was not on my list for this month, but when I joined the Emerald City, I was like, okay, that's now on. Not only am I going to do Success Club, which is totally something I can do because I did it last month and I know I can do it and I have that strategy already in place and I have those like, you know, I have something I can draw off of, but now I'm adding this. So this week, you know, how do I get to Emerald? I'm going to complete my Emerald City homework every single day this week. I'm going to talk to my current challengers and see how they're feeling and talk to them about, what their community is like, if there are people that they have interested, so that when I reach out to them about coaching, it's not about me being like, hey, I want you to coach in my tribe. It's also like, hey, how can you serve your community around you? So just finding those little things to break down into my week by week as steps forward in my month goal. As far as my daily goes, because I do work like close to 50 hours a week, I have to get really specific, which is why I absolutely love this planner. It's called Hibanachi, and it's like grid paper. Every single day has an hour and a half breakdown. Like, it's super detailed and gives you a ton of space to like make all of these notes. And like, I'll just show you I think this was from Monday. I don't know, you probably can't see too much of it, but I've got like all these check marks here. It's like bullet journaling, but I do it for business building because I'm horrible at bullet journaling. I can't, I can't do it. But having like a system of this mark means I've completed it. This one means I've moved it to the next day. It's a very simple, concise way of shifting my goals. And another thing, I would take you into my room into my office if I could, but I like having Post-its on my wall of, in progress, or no, goals, in progress, completed. Like, I have columns of Post-its on my wall that I move as my month progresses. It's on a little calendar I have on my wall. And that helps me to visualize, okay, I've made it this far in this goal, but this goal is still not being served very well. And I should figure out how to implement that in my next week. So the visual thing is very important to me, because otherwise I start to get overwhelmed by, oh, well, I did this thing, but I forgot about that goal. And having different colors and places where I'm constantly seeing it on in the morning when I wake up, I look at my wall, I'm like, all right, I got this. It's always in my space and available to me. So that's the way that I like to do it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. So yeah, everyone thought this was amazing. Mary Pat says amazing. Kristen says so inspiring. Amanda says Amanda explosion. Amanda cries. Status quo. Yes. And Amanda also said that when you were going through your stuff, you shared what you were going through and you leaned on the team. And that is strength. That is courage. That is powerful. Yes. And then Amanda shared a link to the planner. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions for Natasha? Feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions. Yeah, but no, seriously, I can't tell you're a new coach. You sound like you've been coaching for like 3 years. Seriously. Like, you just taught me some stuff that I didn't really ever think about. And I was like, oh, that's such a great idea. Like, talking to your challengers about their community and, just like starting to build that vision in their minds before you even ask them to coach. Hello. Genius.
Yeah, I think one of the women in my group right now is a mom of 4 who is like a PTSA thing. And I'm not a mother, or I'm not particularly interested in that. It's not something that speaks to me. And yet, I'm not in that space. So I wouldn't be able to serve that community very well. But I also know she has friends that are really interested in what she's doing. So I just kind of thought that was a great way to incorporate the idea of her coaching. And she was actually the one person that I'm going to be switching over to coach like tonight when I get off this call. So yeah, I was just trying to be real about, who I am best suited for coaching as well, and being okay with the fact that that's not the community that I would be best serving, and that somebody else would be better at it. So
yeah. Awesome. Yay. All right. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But thank you so much, Natasha, for sharing. You're going to be on more Zooms, just a heads up. And okay, so next up we have Laura, who is going to share her journey, and she has a little bit of a different perspective. So I'm really excited to hear from her.
Okay, guys, can you hear me? We good? Okay, great. Amazing. Natasha, that was amazing. It's so great to meet you here on the internet. How weird, right? But also so amazing. Yes. Okay, great. So it's been a while. I don't know. I don't even know how long since I've spoken on a team call. So this I don't get nervous for stuff normally, but I feel like slightly nervous. I'm an actor, so really this kind of stuff shouldn't bother me. But I think because it feels more personal than ever these days. This is like all day today at work, I was like, "Ooh, I get to talk later." Oh, I get to talk later. I like had this moment of preparing myself. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. So, okay, so I'm gonna do like just a super brief roller coaster description of my coaching journey so far. So I started in 2015. It was a while ago. 16. It was 16. Yeah, Amanda. She always gets it. It was 16. We did a show together here in Chicago. We're both actors. And I was like, what is this girl up to? She like knows what's happening and I don't. And I want to do what she's doing. So I joined the team and I was a success starter as well. Out of the gate, I was really in the exact same mindset of, I want to do all the things at once. And I was loving it. And I loved it for 4 or 5 months and was feeling super strong and super confident and hit Emerald. And then I let a hurdle stop me or pause me. I hurt my shoulder in a show the fall after I started coaching. So it was only 3 or 4 months in. And I sprained my rotator cuff in my left shoulder. And so I couldn't lift my arm for like a month, which meant no working out. And in my head, that meant 1, I was weak. 2, I couldn't do what I was trying to do as a coach, because if I can't work out, how can I motivate somebody else to? Which, of course, in hindsight, is not the mindset that I should have had, but I let it stop me. But that was something I needed to learn and go through and work through myself. So I spent some time focusing on me as opposed to continuing to build the business through that fall and winter. And then Summit was around the corner. And I was jazzed again. And I spent the time building up my strength, and it was super frustrating at first, coaching wise, because I was Emerald. So I had coaches under me, I had challengers, and yet I felt like I was feeling them, but I was building up strength and didn't quite know how to handle those things. And Amanda was super helpful during that time of helping me navigate and running small challenge groups or free groups and trying to get that strength back. So by the time Summit hit, I was really jazzed to be kind of back where I was when I started. And then the momentum from Shift Shop happened and I was back on top and it felt super great. And I was doing all the vital behaviors and really feeling positive and part of the team again. And then we have a recurring theme. I let another life event kind of shift my focus again. This time it was an emotional relationship related one. And I would say this past hiatus, shall we call it, was even harder and took more time than the first one, truthfully. It was like a full season of like my life that I took away from consistently working the business. And Anna and Amanda will, and Jess, who I don't think, is Jess on this call? Maybe not. But all 3 of them will always say, if you hit pause or if you decide to take a step back, you have to know that truthfully, when you decide to start building the business again, you're almost starting as if you've just joined as a coach, because you've lost the momentum and the consistency that you first have. Like Natasha, when you're right out of the gate and you have that fire and that passion, you have to figure out what that why is and where that passion comes from. So it took me, this was back in September, and I feel like I just started working the business again the last 3 weeks or so. So it took me a full fall season to kind of work on myself and get to where I am right now, which is continuing to show myself grace and patience while diving back into the consistency of this world, which I think at first I was afraid of, and Amanda knew that I was afraid of it. And she kind of helped me work through the the big limiting belief of me feeling like I didn't have enough to give, or it was too late for me to get back on the proverbial wagon because I had been out of it for so long. So I decided, and I think this is a huge thing that Beachbody promotes and preaches, and I totally agree with it. You have to decide and commit before you can take action. You can't just say you're going to do something and not fully commit to it. So I decided about a month ago, I was like, I'm going to start doing all the things that I used to do and reach back out to all of my previous challengers and my previous coaches and all of these people who were still part of my life, but weren't in an active challenge group or in an active program because I wasn't running them. So I reached back out to everybody, and I ended up opening a free community. So kind of felt patterned off of Amanda's. Which one is it, Amanda? Which one is your free? Can you put it in the comments? I know you have a couple different ones and I don't want to name the wrong one. But so Amanda rocks the challenge groups for all of her customers on Shakeout, but she also has this like free health and wellness community. The Corner, that's the one. So I decided that a great way to start back up was to reach out to everybody and say, hey, you, let's all get in this community again together and remind ourselves what it feels like to even be together and checking in daily and figuring out how to fit workouts back into our lives and all of that good stuff. And some of them are still on Shakeout and doing programs, and some of them are not. So that was kind of my a good way for me to break the ice of my own fear of what if nobody wants to do this with me anymore, which I think was a huge fear for me too. It was a great way to start. And so I've been doing that the last couple of weeks, and through that, and also putting myself first this whole time, and this whole year and a half, 2 years of coaching has continued to attract people without me realizing it, because I continued to share pieces of my story even when I wasn't coaching actively. So I had people reach out or pop out of the woodwork just a couple weeks ago from an 80-day obsession post that I put that I didn't even think like, oh, this will actively help me build my business. But then people watch and people notice, even if you don't think they are. And so then when I started to build again, I've got 3 or 4 people that are now ready to roll within the last week. So it's like the small daily actions that even if you're doing them just for you, still count, and they will still help you in the long run. And like Natasha said, if you're not working on yourself, then you lose your base. So I think that has helped me too. I definitely had a whole page full of notes and I just flew off of it completely. But I guess that did bring us to where I am today. So the biggest thing I would say right now for me is trusting in the fact that I have put myself first in my life this whole time. That's kind of like my motto and my little note at the end of all my emails, and like, cheers to putting yourself first is what I always say. And I think it's so important. And doing that has helped me to keep my coaching business alive, even though I've had such an up and down and a pause and start. Making sure that I took care of myself first helps to inspire all of these people that I have under my wing to do the same, even though I was worried that because I paused, it meant they paused, which is not how life works, Just I think I was also like giving myself too much responsibility or too much credit, that people are independent enough that if they are part of your tribe and part of your team, they're gonna, just like you guys and all of us together, they're gonna commit to you and stay with you. So that was a big aha moment the last month or so, of trusting and knowing, oh, there are a lot of chat notifications. Should I check those? I don't know if anybody's saying something to me directly. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Let's see, did I miss anything? Oh, another big thing I wanted to touch on with how I got back into making the choice to say yes. I know I touched on committing and making the decision to move forward. One of the biggest things, and Amanda and I talked about it, was that I can and should make the choice to have the room in my schedule to do all the things I want to do. I think it's really easy. And I never thought I was this person, but I definitely was. It's really easy to say, I just don't have enough time to do it all. And my acting career was something I really wanted to focus on, and I was. And my day job is part-time, and it's great. It's not ideal because it's not creative and it's not everything I love. But so I was making excuses. And I was saying, I just don't have enough time, and I don't have enough of myself to give to other people. And then I looked into Amanda's eyeballs, and she called out my bullshit real quick and was like, I really don't think that's true. And I went home and I journaled about it. Journaling has become a huge part of my life the last year, more than ever. And I just decided that I have the room both in my schedule and in my heart to do this. I just decided. And I know that it's true, but sometimes it takes time for you to actually discover that is the reality. But I think the fact that everybody is here and on this call and watching this replay, there's something in you that is sparking that fire, and you should follow it. Even if there's a roller coaster and you're giving yourself a pause and a break, or grace to say, I'm not going to do a challenge group this week or this month or whatever it is, but you have to know that taking care of yourself and finding the space for those other people will change lives, and it'll change the world, truthfully. Because even my small group, I have 20 or 25 members of people that I have specifically worked with and coached with over the last 2 years. And every single one of them, when I reached back out and said I was going to open this community, every single one of them said, I can't wait because this and this and this. And it was all of these things that they shared of how I'm not saying this to brag, but this is just the power that we have. It was all these things that we started implementing together that they continued even while I wasn't actively daily checking in with them. And they were like, so I can't wait to continue and just show you these progress photos and to show you what has happened. And I had this moment the other day where I was just crying. I was in my office. They all think I'm crazy anyway. But I was reading this message from this one gal who, it was just very special. And it was a beautiful reminder that it's so much bigger than us. And it's so much bigger than my schedule. It's so much bigger. And if I have the time and the energy in my heart to do that, I will. And it's, Amanda and I are so great about saying it doesn't take that much time or energy, because you do your power hour and you take care of yourself and you show up for all of these beautiful people that are attracted to your energy. And then it just grows. So that's that. Did I miss anything? Never stopped working on me. I did that. Turn it open. Yeah, that's it, I think.
Yay. Thank you so much for sharing from your heart. I love that. Yeah. Great comments. Amanda says, you lead from the front always. Your coaches and challengers will show up as half the way you do. As RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anyone else?
RuPaul, I saw some comment about RuPaul while I was talking. I was very confused. I love that.
Yeah, it's true. And being able to take the ego out of coaching is one of the most important things I think I still need to learn, Natasha says. Yeah, it's a big thing. But I love your journey so much because it's so, I know we're all overachievers, or not overachievers, but high achievers, we shall say. And we're all very ambitious, and we're all very multi-passionate and creative, and we have big dreams, and we have a lot of balls in the air and a lot of ideas and visions that we want to put in reality. And it's easy to put so much pressure on ourselves to have this perfect journey that just goes like this. And like the coaching
Mhm.
business just keeps growing and like, oh, it's great. And life doesn't look like that, first of all. And second of all, it's so important to have the perspective that, this, like Natasha said, like if this is your calling, like that's deep. This is something that's going to be part of your life for the rest of your life if you want it to be. And so there's going to be seasons of life where coaching is not going to be the priority for you. And that doesn't mean you have to feel like a failure. It doesn't mean you have to beat yourself up or just like be really stressed about having to start over and build momentum again. Because yes, while it's true that if you back off, yeah, you lose momentum. Is that necessarily a bad thing? I mean, that's up to you to decide. It might be a great thing because it gives you the opportunity to start fresh with a clean slate. And in the meantime, like Laura, you've been working your business this entire time, because this is something I want to just like hammer into all of you. You are your business. Your business is to take care of you. And yes, we run challenge groups. Yes, we coach people. Like that's what we do, but that's not what we are. And so like you, as long as you're putting yourself first and taking care of yourself, if you don't have the capacity to like grow a team or run challenge groups or, hit Success Club and all that and have a season of growth, that doesn't mean that you're moving backwards. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It doesn't mean that you're holding yourself back. It just means that you need to go through something, and that's life. And I know you've learned so much in the last 2 years, and that's made you who you are. And I don't think you would be here as you are as a coach if you hadn't gone through those setbacks. And if you hadn't, taken a step back from coaching, blah, 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 like we say, like you would be here, but it would be different. And I think this is just going to make you more powerful. And like you said, you're still showing up for yourself and sharing that, and people watch that. It's like, and this kind of goes back to the taking the ego out of coaching, is remembering like it's not about you, and you don't have to be actively like messaging people and inviting people every day in order to grow your business. You can simply share your life and know that people are watching and they're going to be attracted to you. So when you do come back and give them an opportunity to join, they're going to be like, oh, sure. Yeah. Like Amanda says, read more PD. Yeah. You can't take a step back from your life. Natasha says some of the most success I've had already was all based on my pre-coaching moments through just sharing my 80-day obsession journey. Exactly. And Kristen says, Natasha, you're going to be the best life coach. Yeah. Because that's the journey, you guys. And I just want you all to have perspective, because I've been coaching for 4 years. And it's been a roller coaster. And I don't know if you realize what I've been through behind the scenes on the inside, because I have been consistent with posting, with sharing my journey, with showing up. But if you look at like my business in terms of the numbers, like I've missed Success Club, like my first 2 years of coaching, I hit Success Club 10 for almost 2 years in a row. Like I was a machine. And that was my life. And I just assumed that it was going to be like this forever. And then things change and life happens and things happen and social media happens. And I don't know, changes happen. And it's like, okay, now I have to reinvent myself and I'm like shifting my priorities in life, and how do I want Beachbody to fit into my life? And as you evolve, your business is going to evolve. And your audience is going to evolve, and your team is going to evolve, and coaches that were with you from the beginning are going to quit and go MIA and just like drop out of your life, and you're going to have to build a new team constantly. So you never get out of this feeling like you're a beginner. It's like you're always in it. As you grow, you're always in it. And so if any of you are waiting until you feel more confident, or waiting until you know more, or just like waiting to start, don't. Like, this is how it's always going to be. And you just have to take action. And and remember that what you're going through is your story, and your story is your brand and your business, and that's what's going to connect you to other people. And you just have to have faith in the process and the compound effect, and open your life for people to know that they're not alone at the end of the day. That's what this is about. So yay. Does anyone have any questions for Laura?
I do. I have a question really quick. So when you run or you have like your community that's just free and you have all those people in it, what does that look like? Are you like posting like daily or like weekly, or how are you checking in, or what's like your expectation for that?
Totally. I set up in Facebook, I timed and scheduled posts for every Monday and every Friday. So I do a Monday intention, which basically, and I model it closely to what how Amanda set her corner up. So it's Monday intention of basically everybody take 5 minutes to journal how you want to feel this week, post in the comments, share maybe, a step or two of how you're going to get there. Super, super simple. And then Friday I'll do kind of a non-scale victory. We made it to Friday. Like, how do you feel type thing. And some of them I've scheduled with, comment 1 through 10 about nutrition and water and specific stuff. And some of them I just say, let's celebrate and be crazy. And it's Friday. And then in the in-between, this is only, I don't know what the date is, the 14th. This is only my second full week or starting third week of this open community. So it's pretty fresh, but so far throughout the week, I've posted 1 or 2 recipes or things that I ate for them, just to be like, this is what I'm cooking. What are you guys eating? That type of stuff. And then I've done a couple, 1 or 2 workout posts, but for the most part, a lot of them have kind of jumped in and said, and have just started to communicate with each other, which is really fun and awesome to see. So from a coaching and time and business perspective of scheduling and budgeting, it's 2 posts that I schedule every week that now they're scheduled, So I did that, knocked that out within like 30 minutes. And then the rest of it is I check it daily just to see who's active and what's happening, but it's not, there isn't a morning and afternoon or morning and evening check-in like some challenge groups, and there isn't, there's no Shakeology requirement. And then I think at the end, I haven't totally decided, but I have a business meeting with Amanda tomorrow, and I'm going to pick her brain on this. I haven't decided about like at the end of each month how I'm going to introduce an option to do a My Challenge tracker app and get people on Shako, and kind of like a good gateway. So I'm going to figure out if it should be like a live post or if it should be individual messages. I'm not sure yet. So
okay,
stay tuned.
Maybe when you figure that out, I would love to know.
Totally. I think it's a really great way to have everybody together because I have some people that just say I can't afford Shako this month, or I can't afford whatever. But they don't want to lose the community and the inspiration and the motivation. So I think it's a good way to go. Yeah. I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many ways. Like Marnie says, Betsy uses the challenge tracker. And this could be a thing, especially as we're planning for April. For those of you who have either free groups, challenge tracker, like whatever's working for you. I would love if you could go live in our team page sometime this week and just share like a 10-minute, hey guys, this is what's working for me, so we can all learn and grow together. I will do that too, because I feel like in my brain, I have not yet implemented this fully, but in my brain, I have figured out a system that I'm really excited about, because it makes sense in my head. So I will share mine as well, but it's all about just trial and error and figuring out what feels good to you. Yay. Awesome. Thanks, guys. And then lastly, we have Mary Pat is going to share about how she recently signed up her very first coach, which is very exciting. And I love Mary Pat's journey, because she was one of those, she started as a challenger and was getting great results. And I was like, dude, you need to be a coach. And she was like, F no. And I was like, I mean, just do it for you. And so her first full year, she just worked on herself and just like continually showed up. And then the next year, she started running challenges and running free groups and coaching others, and has made it to Super Saturdays and has just been just like this steady rock on our team. And she recently signed up her very first coach, which is so exciting. And so just wanted to have her on to share a little bit about her journey and what it was like to sign your first coach.
Sure. Can you guys hear me? Yep. I'm glowing. All right. So I signed up. I have literally, guys, the smallest gang of girls that I work out with. Six girls. um, Two are my sisters, and I refuse to talk about Beachbody with my family. So only if they talk to me about it will I talk to them. They can see my Instagram, so they know that I have that. So I share there a lot, and I recently signed up a girl that I worked with like 7 years ago. We were talking about oils together, and she does that. And so she recently signed up for, a challenge group. And in that group, because of the 80-day obsession, I have been posting like the savings you could have based on if you have the discount. And I said, it's really like you guys have to do the discount if you're going to invest in this. And it was pretty quiet, but I know they're hearing me because she messaged me after ordering Shakeology, not on Home Direct, which means that she paid like $13 of shipping, which is crazy. So I reached out to her and I was like, what happened there? Like, we could do this differently. You can also bypass it a couple of times if you want to do HD. So I told her about the discount, and then she asked me lots of questions about the fees and such. And I sent her like a screenshot basically of the breakdown. And I kind of told her, like, went back to why I signed up as a coach in the beginning was because I decided to invest in myself and my health. I had like borderline high cholesterol, which was insane at 32 back then. And I was like, this is just not, I'm not going to be on medication. So I had told her my story. And one of the things Anna had asked me was, would you invest in yourself for a year? What would that look like? And so I literally calculated out a full year. Could I budget it? And what would that mean? So I literally have these things already that I look at. So I just shared them with her. So I shared like what it looks like if you're not on Home Direct, what it looks like if you are, getting it, if you sign up as a coach, and then like the fee that stays constant and what that means too. And so I broke it down for her and it calculates out. And so she just was like, yeah, I think that's exactly what I want to do. And I thought for sure she was a no. So it was kind of just keeping my, like, just being, and like you said, talking to her about other things besides just Beachbody and coaching. She's in my groups. So I end up talking to myself most of the time in my groups. So if you guys have quiet groups, it's okay. They're listening. Like, I have the quietest groups. They're working out and they're doing stuff. And I know this because sometimes they check in on my challenge tracker, and then all of a sudden I see like 13 pounds down. And I'm like, oh, is no one telling me anything? So they're there. If you guys have quiet groups, I have the quietest groups in the world. You can come see me work out. But so yeah, just being consistent and, just being open for conversations about other things and checking in with them directly if they're not chatty in your groups. That's it.
Yay, I love those tips. Yeah, and that question. And also using your own experience of being invited to coach to invite people to coach. Because if it worked for you, it's probably going to work for your people too. And I love the question. I totally forgot I asked you that, but if you invested in yourself for a year, what would that look like? Yeah, and how would that change your life if you showed up for yourself for a year? Just like paint this vision in their heads of, hey, if you're feeling so good after just 3 weeks, imagine if we did this for 12 months without falling off the wagon, or letting life happen, but knowing that you have this foundation. Mm-hmm. And what would it look like to have all this support in this community of women who have your back? Yeah. Yay. Does anyone have any questions for Mary Pat? Awesome. Well, this call way exceeded my expectations. I mean, I had high expectations, don't get me wrong, but you all just knocked it out of the water and were amazing. So we're out of time. I do want to do a live, like a group coaching call at some point for one of our team calls soon. I'll figure that out. Because I think it'd be fun for us to all go around and have like a round table. Circle. I'm tired. And just like share and have that community and work through stuff that's coming up, because I do love coaching too. And I love just realizing that we're not alone, and whatever you're going through, whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're afraid of right now, whatever's holding you back it's not unique to you. We're all the same. We're all in this together, which is the really cool part. So, yeah, you're all so incredible. Amanda says, I hope you see that and know that. Yeah, for sure. So let's go finish your Emerald City assignment if you still have to post it. Yeah, Marnie says, keep up the great work. Thank you for sharing. Can we shout out Marnie for having like the most insane 80-day obsession? Like every single program, Marnie has the best transformation. Like hands down. It's like, oh, I lost 15 pounds. Oh, I lost 30 inches. Oh, hey, look, I'm seeing abs. It's like, who are you? You give us all hope. Yeah, crazy inspiring. Yeah, you're so old. 1 foot in the grave. Marnie's 54, but has like one of the best bodies on our team. Yeah. So just want to shout you out because I'm really inspired by your transformation. Okay. Oh, and Amanda's mom is a coach. Okay. No, my dad is a coach. He is 66 and he's an elite masters runner and can run like a 17-minute 5K. So I'm trying. I have him on the performance line. I'm trying to get him involved in the coaching world. He doesn't know how the internet works, so that's his hang up, like literally. But other than that, maybe we'll see him on a team call sometime. Except my parents live in a cornfield, and so like I don't think Zoom works at their house. But again, no, they live in like what used to be like a pine tree nursery in the middle of a cornfield. Literally. It's a nice neighborhood though. All right, guys. I love you all. Have an amazing night. And I will see you later. Bye.